WeatherScope.
A huge winter storm continues to disrupt many eastern states this morning. Flooding is a major concern in coastal areas that are being battered by rain, high winds, and heavy surf. Meanwhile, farther inland, heavy snow has been the problem. Good morning, I'm Marshall Cease. Welcome to WeatherScope. We've got special coverage, including on-location reports. With all the details, here's Cheryl Lemke in our forecast center.
Thanks, Marshall, and good morning. We continue to track an immense storm system that's been causing all sorts of headaches across the east, including heavy snow for the Appalachians, heavy rain along the coast, and very strong winds up and down the eastern seaboard. Our latest satellite imagery still indicating that our storm system is roughly poised just off the coast of Cape Hatteras. We are still seeing a lot of moisture that continues to kind of curl in behind our storm system. A lot of moisture being pumped across the northeastern corridor, and we've had a variety of weather conditions, including rain, sleet, and snow. Heaviest rains in the last 24 hours have been hitting the mid-Atlantic states, like Virginia Beach, Virginia, over 6 inches of rain. We've had a report from the local police department that there's been street flooding, schools are closed, and condos on the Chesapeake Bay side are being evacuated because officials fear the buildings may collapse into the ocean. Our surface map again showing our storm off the Carolina coast. Very tightly packed isobars, meaning a very tight pressure gradient and very strong winds raking the east coast at this time. Now mainly it's a cold rain event throughout the eastern seaboard, but a little bit farther inland we start to pick up more of the sleet and the freezing rain showing up in the areas of Orange, and then through the Ohio Valley, mainly a snow event this morning. But again, any way you slice it, a very messy day for traveling throughout the Northeast and the Mid-Atlantic. And we have team coverage of this storm system. First of all, we have Kristen Dodd, who's in Revere, Massachusetts, and then also Lori Geary, who's been covering the storm from Seabright, New Jersey. Good morning, Lori. What's the latest?
Well, good morning. I'll tell you, the folks here in Seabright just dealt with a nor'easter last week, and here they go again. The winds are gusting up to about 40 to 45 miles an hour. The rains are steady. The seas are very, very rough, but managed to stay behind the seawall during high tide. The big concern is with the Shrewsbury River. Folks who live along it are waking up to flooded conditions. All of Route 36, all of the side streets along Route 36 are flooded. Much of Route 36 is impassable, and there is debris scattered everywhere. The next big concern is with high tide. For the Atlantic, that means it's around 2:30 in the afternoon. For the Shrewsbury River, about 4:30 in the afternoon. So emergency response crews are trying to keep a close eye on the water conditions. Right now, we're going to take it to Kristen Dodd, who is in Revere, Massachusetts. How's it looking up there, Kristen?
Well, Lori, right now we are beginning to get a little bit of sleet as the wind continues to come in off the waters. It's blowing on their face, and it is beginning to sting just a bit. And these have been the conditions that we have been experiencing throughout the morning hours. Now, I am along Winthrop Parkway in Revere, which is a section of Boston just to the north of the city. Behind me here is Massachusetts Bay, and you can see how the waves continue to be kicked up, and they have been pounding the seawall here along Winthrop Parkway throughout the morning hours. The high tide was at 6 o'clock this morning, and at that time we were seeing the waves lapping over the seawall, and they had to actually shut down the roadway for a time because you just could not get by. They had bulldozers coming through and sweeping out some of the water. That has now stopped, and so they have reopened the roadway. However, later on this afternoon, we do expect to see more of those same conditions, and we could see the road shut down once again. Also, it's seeing some freezing rain a little bit farther to the inland areas, but we are on the northern edge of this storm, and so for Boston, it looks like we're going to stay out of the very heavy rain, which is good news for folks out here out toward Cape Cod, though. They could see 1 inch of rain, and we're still seeing the potential for some coastal flooding and beach erosion. Back to you.
Thanks, Kristen. We appreciate your insight on the storm system. Going back to our surface map, we see that we have a variety of weather conditions, and again, the precipitation covers a large expanse of real estate. Currently, the rain is coming down around Cape Cod. Now, right where Kristen is, we've had reports of some sleet and a little bit of rain, too, though, around the Boston area. Still reporting widespread freezing rain, though, across Connecticut, making a tough go this morning for Hartford, Bradley Field, on into Bridgeport and Danbury, Connecticut, all reporting freezing rain. A cold rain, though, for JFK and LaGuardia, but there has been spotty areas of freezing rain, too, on into Poughkeepsie and Newburgh, New York, and some freezing rain, too, over towards the Pittsburgh metro area. Winds, too, will cause a major problem throughout the eastern seaboard. Gale and storm warnings have been posted. Coastal flood advisories, too, as we have this big wall of water that continues to push up towards the east coast with those stiff northeasterly winds. And this makes for a dangerous scenario for the mariners. Some of the seas today across the east coast might be building from 15 to about 25 feet high. Another aspect of the storm system, though, has been the snow. And we've had some locally heavy snows for some areas, like over western Maryland. We've had some reports of 15 to 20 inches of snow, and there's still some snow coming down this morning over parts of the Ohio Valley. It should stay fairly light, although some parts in southern Indiana may see 3 to 6 inches of snow. The good news, though, by tomorrow, we can finally say goodbye and good riddance to this storm system. Well, the east is not the only active spot, though. We have some rough weather, too, across the west. And let's check out the weather across the rest of the country. With all the details, here's Marshall Cease in the studios. Marshall?
Cheryl, folks in the west wish they could say goodbye.